Right. I hope it's all visible now, the complete screen. Sena, and I'm working as the Chief Minister's Good Governance Associate at the District Administration of Faridabad. Today, I'm going to talk about the project Nari Uthan, which was started back in July, August 2020. So I'll first begin by talking about the need of this program, why we initially, under the leadership of our Deputy Commissioner, thought of starting that. So, as you would all know, like last March onwards, the cases of COVID had extremely hit the entire nation really hard. And as a result of that, we saw a rampant rise on violence against women and also a rampant rise in a decrease in the enrollment rates of our girl students who were enrolled in the schools. So, when everything had shifted online, we were also seeing that girl students specifically were hit the hardest, and they were the most of the students who were out of reach of our teachers. So we analyzed 2 3 points, for example, the 181 women helpline or that 1091, and we observed that the distress calls had increased considerably. So therefore it was needed, once we had moved on to July and things were largely stable, as compared to today. I mean, they were quite stable back then. So we thought of finally now putting the agenda of women at the core once again, and tried to bring them back into the mainstream. Hence, a pan department level project Nari Uthan was launched under the leadership of Deputy Commissioner Shri Yashpal Yadavji. So the project basically targeted three major interventions, which was law enforcement, capacity building, and behavior change in communication. Now, when we analyzed the need that yes, we had to bring our women back into the mainstream, we thought of doing it by three basic tools. And the departments that were onboarded for this project were mainly the Women and Child Development Department, which was led by the District Program Officer Anita ji. And we also onboarded our health department specifically, the PNDT and MTP, the prenatal diagnostic technique and MTP team of our health department, who were given the charge to undertake recent practices in law enforcement. Apart from health, we also took help from our police department, specifically our ACP Crime Against Women, who was in charge of giving support to the health team to ensure law enforcement was well. And apart from these, we also onboarded education and employment department to then focus on the second bit I was talking about, which is the girls' education and capacity building. So the first bucket I'll start talking about was law enforcement. In law enforcement, we found out that since 2018, there was not even one raid which was conducted in the district Faridabad, raid for the prenatal diagnostic technique or medical termination of pregnancy. Like there were a lot of ongoing malpractices, and sex selective discrimination was rampant in Faridabad, it being a district on the borders. So there were a lot of cases where we also found out through our information channels that around the border, specifically Luni, Ghaziabad, or other areas, the entire target group was extremely high. So we had to reactivate our law enforcement entire branch, and for that we targeted 10 areas from all our 6 blocks in Faridabad, in which the 10 areas were selected where the sex ratio at birth was extremely low, low being less than 800. So 10 areas for each block, and for them we decided to train our ashas and anganwadi workers first of all, and to give them the responsibility to start tracking the abortions and also constant monitoring of these pregnancies. Now, when we talk about pregnancy monitoring, what we found out was that in the second and third case, where the pregnancy is of the second child or the third child, and the first two or the first one is a girl, the cases of abortion were extremely high. So we ensured that all our ashas and anganwadi workers were trained, well equipped enough to give information as and when to our MTP PNDT team, so that they can go and nab the offenders currently. And for that, under the leadership of the Deputy Commissioner, the district task force meeting, which eventually happens, we started all of that again. And the data monitoring of all these 10 specific areas in each of the blocks was started by our WCD and health department. So as a result of all of this, we found out that in August and March, like this 6-month period specifically, we were able to nab 25 plus offenders. And this was done again, like I was talking about, both for the ultrasound centers which were running illegally and which were doing sex selective abortion. Plus, also, we were able to nab a lot of offenders, even from the medical community, who were supplying the medical termination of pregnancy kits, which are liable to offense under the PNDT MTP Acts. So, our drug controls team as well started helping out our PNDT nodals in the district. And all in all, we were able to register 25 plus FIRs in the context. And because this sent a very strong message to everyone regarding that this is something that the district administration is extremely serious about. And because it became the point of talk, in every second media channel which was circulating the news in Faridabad, we were able to really send a very strong message. And we started getting a lot of information also, not just from our frontline workers, but also from the general public as to, yes, this is happening. And which is why I think the entire 6-month approach was quite successful on the law enforcement bit. Apart from that, what we figured out was that law enforcement is not just the only way in which we could, bring the focus back to sex ratio at birth and our upliftment of women. We had to ensure capacity building of different groups in our community which were hard hit due to the pandemic. So for that, we identified 3 different groups. The first group was of our frontline workers. Because our frontline workers were the ones who were in direct touch with the public, they also conducted a lot of programs during the pandemic when it was hit initially, be it food distribution or be it serving essentials and healthcare facilities door to door, ensuring the last mile reach. So we wanted to ensure that they were to undertake any effort. So for them, we targeted our Ashas, our Anganwadi workers. And as you can see on the screen also, they were trained on 3 basic things. First one was information gathering and training on how to counsel the families. So once the PNDT or MTP raids were done in an area, our workers constantly were in touch with the entire community to gather more information and also to try to talk to the surrounding families of that area where such a case was found, and to sensitize them regarding sex selective abortion or gender based discrimination. How can it go down? So the first series of trainings were done on that bit. Second one was because of the entire health department's focus going on COVID related activities. The other maternal health and childcare activities had taken a little bit of backseat. So because the Ashas and ANM specifically were involved in COVID related stuff, the Anganwadi workers were, again, they were trained in nutrition and maternal health care and childcare, again, with our panel of experts regularly. Specific monthly trainings were done so that they were able to now, in the change scenario, how do they target the current families. And the third bit on which our frontline workers were trained were about 2 specific schemes, which are Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana and Aapki Beti Hamari Beti scheme, which directly and impacts our women. But the registration of these had gone down considerably during COVID because people were not able to apply. They did not have relevant documents. Also, information asymmetry had increased considerably during the pandemic's time. Hence, our workers were trained again to start going door to door, tell people as to what are the documents needed, and to also ensure increasing of targets. And as a result of all this, we were able to see a surge in all these applications and were able to also meet our monthly targets in the end of this year. The second group that we identified for capacity building was our adolescent girls. So some time back when the schools had reopened around September or October onwards, and specifically for our 9th to 12th girls, we targeted basic 4 areas, on which first one was menstrual hygiene, because period poverty is a very big issue currently. So we had onboarded 3 to 4 NGOs which did different workshops in different blocks, of course keeping in mind the pandemic, which is why the strength was very limited. We did workshops with, let's say, 50 to 60 girls only at one point of time. The second bit that we targeted was because we saw that girls' participation had reduced post-COVID. So we had role model sessions with female leaders of our district only. For example, in the picture, you can see one of our SDMs, who's a young IS officer. She gave role model sessions in 4 or 5 such schools. We onboarded other women from the industry as well in Faridabad who were working on good positions to come and talk to our girls, to talk to them about different issues, gender-based discrimination, and to just motivate them further. We also had workshops on gender-based discrimination, talking to them as to how they should raise their voice, or telling them about different channels like the Women's Helpline 181 or our one-stop center, which was also inaugurated in the month of October. So we wanted information asymmetry to reduce in that bit. The fourth bit that we targeted for adolescent girls was career opportunity sessions. So apart from virtual sessions, wherever we got the opportunity to do an in-person session, we called people from different industries and talked to them about. So this is in the picture you can see one of our ITIs in which a session was done by an NGO who gave a 1-year long program. So like that, different career opportunity sessions were also done by onboarding our education and employment departments. The third bit we targeted for capacity building was our women at the workplace, be it our government departments or be it our private departments. So we started sensitization on the POSH Act, Prevention Against Sexual Harassment, and our local complaints committee, it was reconstituted in the month of August, and they started taking ownership and started talking to all the internal complaints committee of different organizations in Faridabad of different departments. And we ended up doing a lot of sessions, both in person again and virtual ones, to sensitize people regarding workplace harassment, and also open that channel again so that the women can start coming to us and registering complaints. As a result of that, we also saw that our local complaints committee, which was like since the last 3 years, it was lying almost dormant, it started receiving cases, and redressal rate had also increased considerably high. So this channel was also effectively utilized. Apart from capacity building, the third and the most important bit, I would say, was behavior change and communication. Because again, there was a very big gap of specifically 4 or 5 months which had come up during the pandemic. There was no constant communication which was happening from the district administration side to the women of the community. So how to involve them again, and not just involve them or tell them about things, but also make them a part of the entire initiative, was a very big challenge for us. So we started targeting smaller initiatives. For example, just putting the nameplates of girl children outside the homes. We started off the initiative in one of our subdivisions with one SDM taking the lead for the same. And secondly, we also started the pledge making activities around the site. For example, you can see on the screen our other SDM led that in different block. So this was led specifically by SDMs, and it was a subdivisional activity wherein we started experimenting on different activities which we could take to start sensitizing people about the girl child. And secondly, that you see are the different pledge making, and you can also see here the group activity which took place by virtue of whether be it Kua Pujan activity or pledge making or Prabhat Feri, which you can see in the fourth photograph, or specifically Nukkad Nataks, which were conducted in 166 areas in the month of October to March. Apart from that, yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you. Please conclude the presentation, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll just conclude. So apart from that, we also started recognition of our girls, not just girls, but also mothers who were mothers of a single girl child in our community. To culminate the entire program, we thought of doing a full-fledged Nari Utthan Saptah, in which from 1st to 8th March, we did a variety of activities, which again were targeted on just culminating the entire project and sharing the learnings with everyone. So on that, we targeted our SHG women, also women from our RWAs. We did different Nari Chaupas and also sports activities. So going forward, how do we see this now sustaining in our system? Is that these strategic partnerships which were made, or the block task force, the subdivisional task force, or the district task force, which were made during this time, we plan to continue holding monthly meetings with all of these civil society groups and our government departments, and to continue replicating the project and to scaling it up in the coming days. We also have made different brand ambassadors of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or Nari Uthan from within the community, be it our, Dhapa ties that we call, or different girls that we have identified who will be now roped in, and they will start leading our effects. Secondly, the effective outreach of behavior change and communication. We plan to continue it using our print as well as digital media in the coming days to come. And continuous capacity building, like I said, it's something which doesn't really complete anytime. So it is a constant activity, and we would be onboarding new partners. We would be also ensuring that this frontline workers as well as our girl children, their capacity building doesn't stop at this moment. And the last bit, to ensure that all of this goes on and we achieve our targets, the specific data bagged monthly reviews under the chairmanship of RDC, and also the subdivisional reviews under the leadership of our SDMs at the block levels continue, so that we are able to create different channels of accountability, is something that we will go forward with. So that's pretty much around our presentation, and that's how we aim to go forward with the Nari Uthan program even in the days to come. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you have done a good job, because the last survey has come out with the data that Haryana has really improved its sex ratio.
Yes.
I mean, unbelievably, I think probably next to Kerala or something like it's quite high on the list.
Yes.
That means your initiatives, and of course others in the districts, has really contributed. So I think your program is successful. The results are showing. Good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, last 6 months also, if I were to talk about just Faridabad, so last 6 months our sex ratio
very good
was
initiative.
915.
How long you have been working on this?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you.
Since when is this project going on? How long is the duration?
Sir, we started it off in August 2020. Yeah, sir, we started planning it in August 2020, and it was implemented September onwards. Yes, sir.
Oh. So right now, I think the time is a bit too short for the real outcomes to come.
Yes, sir.
It is moving in the right direction, but outcomes to come, I see such projects take about 2-3. It is going in the right direction, but the outcomes will take a little time before they show up. The bigger issue that you have on hand is how to make it sustainable, because you cannot be here all through for the next 5 years or 8 years. So how is it that it can be made systematic and it becomes sustainable? Now, these are the two challenges which you should look into and address.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, sir, for bringing that up. I think I might have missed talking about that even during the presentation. So specifically, why we did not onboard, so you could also have seen in the presentation, there were not a lot of NGOs or, other independent organizations which were doing certain things in certain areas. It was a very institution-led sort of a project which relied on all our existing frameworks only, mostly. So the block task force, the district task force, it's already there as per different acts. But what eventually happens is that these people, these sort of frameworks become dormant, and these meetings aren't held regularly. So what we did during the last 6 months was, just pitching on to these existing teams or existing acts which give power to all these committees and reactivating them onwards, which is why, like, as I said, that this is not like a 6-month project only. We are going to go forward and going to ensure that these meetings, why I talked about the data backed reviews bit, was that these core committees, again, as they're reactivated, they should continue in the days to come. So we have taken help from all our department HODs and their subordinates from within these 5 departments that I was talking about initially. So even if 1 or 2 of them get transferred in the days to come, or even if our deputy commissioner or people like our SDMs, 1 or 2 of them get transferred, at least the framework bit is existing, and now when we have channelized these meetings to go on every month, I think a cadence is set as to how this should go on even further. So we are hopeful that we'll be able to utilize on it in the days to come by leveraging just the existing resources.
Right, that's right.